The wonder of home.
The wonder of home.
The wonder of home. The wonder of home.
Beautiful Willow, back again.
Thanks for having me back.
Yay, of course. Love having you. One day the podcast will get to the point where we'll be in an actual studio and we won't have to do it on Zoom. It'll be so fun. That's like the goal. That's the goal, friends. This is so that we just get it done. And also because a lot of the people that I'm interviewing are kind of everywhere. So lucky for me, you're local. So I could always come to you. Like,
absolutely.
I had to. I'll just bring my portable everything. But yes, the future is fun. So we're going to kick off this episode with the lovely Willow, who I would love you to share, Willow, where you grew up, a bit more about yourself, like your story, how you came to start She's Got Glow, which people can find on Instagram. She's Got Glow.
Thank you.
And you're like, obviously I know, but like to all of our listeners, like your different, I suppose, seasons of life and how you came to be doing what you're doing and what you're passionate about and glowy about. That would be great.
Yeah, absolutely. So I actually was born out west in a little town called Temora. So I was a bit of a country girl. I was out there till I was about 7 and then came to the coast. So we're in Kiama now. I've always, Kiama's beautiful, but I always found I wanted to fly the coop and go and explore. So a lot of my 20s were exploring, and I lived in Wollongong. And then once we had kids, I was like, my family's still here, Tim's family's here. We live like right close to all his brothers and sisters. And there was just such a draw card with young kids to come home to Kiama. And I'm so glad we did. I'm so glad.
When all the cousins grow up together, hey.
That's amazing. Amazing. And even just having truly, like, both of us have careers, so having support around us to like look after the kids and have them with people that love them as much as we do. It's just a treat, you know. So coming out of school, I was really interested in science, and so I pursued a like pretty hardcore sciences, which is actually funny. And there's a story here because I got told that I shouldn't do science when I was by my like year advisor in year 10. I was choosing
year advisors. Don't get me started.
Oh, really? The same experience?
How do these people get their jobs? I love biology. And they told me, don't do biology because you're barely passing. Do legal studies, because I was like acing it in legal studies. But I hated legal studies. Like, I was really good at it. I would talk all lesson. And my teacher, I reckon, hated me because I was the bad one in the class, but she couldn't really get cranky because I was like the one that aced the subject.
Yeah.
But biology, I loved. I just found it so interesting. So I just
kind of.
Yep, sure did.
Oh, good.
I was like, up yours to the year advisor, who shall remain nameless on this podcast. But yes, continue on with the great advice from yours, Willow.
Well, the same, right? Said, no, you can't do math, you can't do physics, you can't do chemistry or biology. No, that's all a no. And I walked out of there, and I remember so vividly my mum, she was my voice of like, you can do anything, before it was my own, you know?
Yes, the mums.
Yes, I know, right? She squared up my shoulders and she goes, Willow, don't let anyone tell you that you can't do something. If you want to do it, you'll do it. Don't like, yeah. I was just like, I was so shaken at that point because I just heard that like I can't. And then my mom's like, you know, BS, yes, you can. Yeah. And it was the fuel that I needed, but that fueled quite a lot. So it was my HSC and then a degree in nanotechnology, then a PhD in medical bionics. And then at the end of that, it was really funny because I was like, why did I do all this? Was I driven by spite to prove myself, right? Yeah. And a lot of it was. And a lot of it was also challenging myself, doing the hard things, proving myself as enough, like heaps of, you know, motivators.
Be nearly to that person, not yourself, that you could do it.
Yeah. But it's funny because when I was choosing my university degrees, I could go nanotechnology, which was the shiny new science thing, which I ended up doing. And the other option there was psychology. And I'm like, oh my gosh, if I knew myself then, if I really honored who I was, I know what choice I would have made, right?
Yeah.
Because now, full circle, that whole time I've been doing this other career, I was in corporate, I was in like the higher education sector, all this like, career.
Yeah.
And the whole time I've been working on my own self-development, reading everything, absorbing, going to courses, like doing all this other stuff around psychology, really. And so when it came to the point, I've been building businesses for a while, sort of thing, but this is the one that just landed with me. It landed in my lap in a way that I couldn't even deny, right? A friend, I'd been through my own journey of glowing and a friend was really struggling. And I said, can I see if I can help you do what I did in my life in your life? And she's like, please. Yeah, that would be amazing.
If it was me, I'd be like, yes, please, Willow.
Yeah. And so we worked together for like six weeks, and her life transformed astronomically. And she's, even now I see her and she's like, she thanks me profusely. And I was like, well, I need to thank her too, because she gave me the confidence to think that I can actually do this for other people as well.
And you can help people.
So,
that's cool.
Yeah.
So when you say the science, sorry for like dumb people in the room like me, what is it? Nano?
Oh yeah. Okay. So nanotechnology
is it like I don't know.
So it's all sciences, right? It's like chemistry and biology and physics and materials engineering, but on a small scale. So a nanometer is like really small. And so things behave differently down there.
Okay.
And so when it was a brand new area of science, and it was very interesting, and there's lots of cool stuff happening there now still.
Yeah.
But to give you an idea, like my PhD was in medical bionics, so that's implantable devices. Okay. So it was my job to we had this idea that we could build a brain implant that would respond to epileptic seizures. Right. So so if some people who with epilepsy, they can't take a handful of drugs because they're really potent and there's side effects are horrendous. But if we could deliver it right to the epicenter of the seizure and in nanoliters, right, for a very small amount, we could actually really transform their lives. So that was what I did for my project.
Just in your spare time,
that was so hard. That was probably like, other than raising children, that was the hardest.
How did you do that? Like, how did you do that? Is that why? I'm sorry, I have to say it. This is my learn and only opportunity, everyone. Willow is known as Dr. Willo Boniface. But she's like, it's not like a medical doctor. But I'm like, I don't care. It's literally doctor. You've like got that amazing tag that some of us will never dream of, let alone even accomplish. I was like, totally undersell the doctor card.
I do, because it's not really relevant to what I'm doing right now, but I still, I still use it.
You got it. Like, what's your butt off to get that? Yeah.
I know, it's so funny though, but for a while there, I didn't really use it. And I put it on like, I think there was one bill and I was like, yeah, I'm going to put doctor on that. Dr. Willow. And so when that bill came through, I was like, yeah.
Like, oh, I don't want to pay you. At least you like use my title. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you were raising kids, like little kids, when you were doing the studies for that?
No, so this all came before kids. Oh my goodness.
Oh my
I can't even, some people are out there doing that, and my hat is absolutely off, because it was
amazing people.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, my kids came when I was so after science, I was in the corporate world and climbing that old ladder, and kids came at that point, and that was hard in itself, because it's
that would have still been really full on. Yeah.
But when is a good time, right? When's a good time to have kids?
Never.
Just talk about spanners. Throw.
Yeah, never. You just adjust. I know. So just throw another one. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's my story, I guess. And I guess, so when I came to be doing my business now, it sort of came at that point where my friend, I'd done a lot of work for myself, right? So I got to a point where I was, it was a funny situation of like trifecta. I had some health issues. Had to end up having a hysterectomy. And I also found out that I was going to be made redundant through organizational restructure at the time. And then I also had extended family relationships completely blowing up. And I just think, you know, we have I call them wobbles because they're nice, like times in your life where you're just in a wobble, because I feel like it's less permanent. It's more just like, no, wobbles can ease up a bit. So, but I think when there's financial uncertainty, when there's health uncertainty, like big time health uncertainty, and then relationship uncertainty, that's just like a recipe for me. It was too much, right? Completely too much. I think if any one of those areas is a bit wobbly, you're like, okay, I can give that my love. I can give that my focus. When your whole world feels like it's like life throwing a boulder at you, completely taking you off your feet, you're like, what do I do? And the only thing
I even stand on.
Yeah. And I know that like resonates. People know what it feels like to be thrown a boulder, right?
Yeah.
And for me, I just was like, I can't control any of that stuff. I can't even control the cells in my own body. I cannot control it, right? I just had this beautiful relinquishment of control in my life. The only thing that I had to control was me. And that was how I was showing up, how I poured into myself, how I showed up as a parent and as a wife. And that was my main call. Like I wanted that to be good. I could be happy in amongst all this turmoil. I can see the beautiful duality of life, and I chose happiness. And so that started this journey for me, which was, I like feel like it was a total glow up for me. And now I feel like no matter what happens, I'm rock solid. Like big shit's happening still, and I'm like, I've got me, you know.
Yeah,
that feels really powerful.
So cool. Can you show me your shirt?
Yeah, I keep touching my shirt because I've got my She's Got Glow shirt.
I know. Shirt, please. She's got glow.
I'm
yes,
touching myself. I'm really proud of it.
Yes, I'm you do. Actually, and you're gonna be or maybe I might be releasing.
No, I am. I'm gonna be selling them.
Yes.
We're still figuring all that out, but it is coming.
On the website. They're coming. Yeah, She's Got Glow, which I love because I think it's such a good talking point.
Yeah.
People wear like random things on their shirt. I'm like, why not wear something that like someone would be like, oh, what do you mean by that shirt? Like, wow.
Yeah. Do you know what? I want someone, when I put this shirt on, I'm like, I feel unstoppable. I want people to wear this and feel that as they put it on as well.
Well, even like someone to look and read your shirt. Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
you'd be wearing it and someone's like, oh, she's got glow.
She's got glow.
You know what I mean? Even if you don't, the shirt says you don't. Just pretend, fake it till you make it.
Yeah, that's
so, it. In your experience, what are some common challenges? Because obviously you work with a lot of women across all different like spheres and sectors, like you'd said, in She's Got Glow, and also internationally. What are the common challenges that women face when trying to embrace their strengths and to glow, and like how do they overcome these obstacles, or what are some like practical tips that you can give of ways for them to overcome, like, you know how you were saying about about you couldn't control anything else around you, and you couldn't even control like cells in your body, but you could choose. So what like were some practical things, I suppose, to help you choose that every day?
Yeah. So I guess we can start with what the challenges I see.
Yeah.
The challenges I see, one of the biggest ones is just comparison.
Yeah.
We are just in an age where we see people with, you know, the fabulous houses and the caravan and all the flashy cars and all the material things.
Yeah.
And it is very easy to think, I'm not where they are. How are they doing that? You know, the reality is they could be in a buck ton of debt and not happy, right?
Very,
but also,
very accurate.
Right. And if they're not, and that's just how much like what they've got going on, yay for them, because good on you, right? Just truly going, actually, where am I at in my life? And zooming out, going, is that where I want to be? Do you know what? A younger version of you probably dreamed up this existence, this new house you've got right here.
So
like,
crazy.
Oh my gosh.
People didn't see like for the last 3-4 years that I've lived in like a literally falling apart house. like to get to the place of now being in this
Yeah.
house. Like, so yeah, you just don't know people's stories. So
You
comparison
don't.
really like,
Yeah,
worse.
absolutely. And obviously social media where everyone's got all the shiny things facing everybody.
Yeah.
You know, it's so easy to go there, and it's actually so easy to feel terrible about yourself in that situation. So I say only follow people. I do a like cleanse of social media.
Thank you for saying that. Oh, yeah. Like,
Yes.
there's a part of social media. I love social media. Like, love it. I love it because I'm totally a people watcher. Like, I genuinely love watching people, but like, I love watching like out of interest, like not in comparison. Like, I'll look at things and be like, oh, how creative is that person? Or like, how cool is that they've just done? Or I love following people and seeing all the different places they go, because I'm like, oh, I want to go there.
Yeah. Where is that? Yeah.
Otherwise I wouldn't know. Yeah, I wouldn't know that existed. Like, I love that part. But so many like people that follow me will say, oh, Mel, how do you just not get affected? And I'm like, I don't follow those people.
Yeah.
Like, if
and I think,
I don't allow them to speak into my life.
No.
Like,
and I think there's a difference between creating and consuming, right? We are creators.
Love creating.
Yeah. We're putting things out there. We're putting positive things into the world. People want to believe in us. So our followers are benefiting from our creating.
Yeah.
But I think I'm very, very careful about who I follow. Yeah. And I clean up if something doesn't agree with me, sort of thing. And I'm like, sometimes I'll keep them just so I'm like, what are the other people thinking? And then I'm like, no, that's enough of that.
Like mute is awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Like sometimes like if people like there's stuff coming up that I disagree with, but I still like that person as a person. I appreciate like that openness, you know, talking about in a previous episode, like I still want to always remain open to other opinions.
Absolutely.
Or other views. So I don't just unfollow someone because I disagree with something. Yeah. But I might like mute them. Like if it's really negative, or maybe like some people, maybe even me, like I might have like a whingy season. Feel free to mute me. But yeah, I don't know. Like I think there's so much. I think there's a part of our life that we have to nearly kind of own, like what we allow to speak into us and what we don't. So I love that you said that, Willow, about like who you follow. You don't follow that helps you like not in that struggle, like because it's what you see goes in.
Yeah, absolutely. And I call it, I like everything that I do, excuse me.
You cough so gracefully.
Really? Yes. What was I going to say?
About like who you follow and like overcoming the struggle of comparison. We're always comparing.
So I call all of the things we do in She's Got Glow self-leadership. Like, how do you lead yourself? That's how you consume, how you interact with your loved ones, how you show up at work. Like, how do you lead yourself? Because when you lead your own life, then you're making choices that benefit you and your family. And so I just like to pull that in of like, if you're in hardcore comparison mode, lead yourself differently. Feel empowered that you get to choose that and make the moves for yourself, right?
That's so good.
And so another challenge I thought of was like just time. Time feels fleeting. But people, the biggest thing I find is people saying I don't have time, and even I don't have time for the stuff that we implement. And it's like, I love that because I actually we do what we do because, and we can inject these habits that we spoke about in the last episode because it's easy, and we can inject it in there, and it actually creates spaciousness. But the thing that I find about time is that actually we are in full control of our time. This is self-leadership again, and we get to choose how we spend it. That is all that's the only asset we have as time. And then what I find is that when we create that beautiful self-worth with these habits, then we have beautiful boundaries around our time and our life. Yeah. It just feels lush, right? Like it feels like you've got more time because you're just very capable and very empowered to say no to some things and say yes to some things. Yeah. It just gives you control again.
Like I have a lot of people say to me, and I know that as a person, I have a very high capacity. Some people don't have that. Like, I've always had that. And so I have a lot of people say to me, Mel, I don't know how you do all the things you do. How do you have time?
Mm.
And I'm always like, well, I have as much time in the day as you.
Yeah.
I only like I'm passionate and I love contributing. I love doing things with other people. I love being part of a team. So and those things fuel me. They don't
Yeah.
drain me. So like the things that drain me are cleaning my house.
Yeah.
Things that drain me are whatever. But the goal for me is eventually to like pay someone to do the things that drain me. So then that gives me that time back to put into something that I love.
Yeah.
So even like with this podcast idea, so many people said to me, how are you going to do that? And I'm like, I can do it. Like,
yeah.
I want to do it and I'm passionate about it. And I think, like I love people. I love hearing their stories. But I'm like, in a way, in the podcast realm, there's like, if you want to learn about parenting or you listen to a parenting podcast, if you want to learn about self-leadership, you listen to a self-leadership podcast. But I was like, for someone like me, maybe I'm like a bit ADHD. But I'm like, I get bored of podcasts because they are that one thing over and over and over again. And I like the variety of just hearing different stories, hearing different, what people are into, how they got there, what made them want to do that. Or, so I think it's interesting because like you said, I've learned through the things I love to be able to eat. I find it easy to say no to things that isn't what I love. And I don't feel bad about it.
Yeah. Well, that's it, right? They're not feeling bad.
There's no that guilt, like, oh, I feel like I should do that. Like, I'm not the better suited person for that. There's probably a better suited person out there for that.
I think when you speak to people who go, how are you going to have time for that? Like they're probably reflecting that they don't feel like they've got the time for that or the capacity for that, right? But I would encourage everybody to just honor their energetic needs.
Yeah, exactly. Right? But that's even comparison. That's them comparing themselves to me.
Yeah.
And that's why I was like, I have high capacity. So like, don't compare yourself to me. Because some people don't. That's actually how they're wired.
Yeah.
But I think, it's that whole, like, you do you.
Like, yeah, absolutely.
But just because I'm doing something like this doesn't mean there won't be something I'm going to cut out of to create more margin. Like,
yeah, absolutely. I sometimes say this when people are a bit stretched and spread too thin. I'm like, let's get your priorities right and choose where you want to glow.
Yeah, that's
like what's a non-negotiable, right? Family for me, and that is non-negotiable, right?
I delegate that.
It's like it's a hardcore. That's where I want to pour some love. For right now, this season of your life, this podcast is where you want to glow, right? Awesome. There's going to be other parts like a clean house, not so important right now. Cool.
You can totally leave it a box.
Just behind where you're going to shoot the camera.
You can't see there's like dishes.
See what's going on over here?
Right here. Even like in another episode that I've recorded, I interviewed one of like Renee, and she's beautiful, and we were just laughing. I was saying about how I had like this part of my kitchen, like whatever, but then I was like, you can't see the tissue boxes here next to me in the sink because tissue boxes are ugly. I'll probably move around the house just to change it up. I'm like, I just need to get a big art on the wall and I'll sit on the couch. But it's funny. It's true though. But that's the thief of comparison. Like, as like, I suppose, like, sorry, I've like taken us totally on a tangent about how do you overcome the different obstacles and how do you like glow and thrive even if it's a really tough season?
Actually I didn't answer it, did I just talked about it.
Well, you kind of did about how even like I think that was such a great tip about like you were saying, like when they're spread and you're like, let's bring it back. I think that's really great.
I think just prioritizing, getting some boundaries around things, but all that truly, it all stems from those habits that we said in the first episode, right? Moving your body, practicing gratitude, practicing affirmations creates an energetic, happy, engaged, and confident woman who can then say no to some stuff and can have her priorities, have her beautiful transitions between work and home so that she carries her energy nicely into different phases. Like work energy is very different to mum energy and wife energy. Like honor your energy is the biggest thing. Like glowing is an energy force. I fully believe that. And people can feel your energy before you open your mouth. Like in the first few seconds, you can gauge it, you can read it. And so I have a motto for my own life where I choose, and for my business as well, our like mission is to make every single person I interact with feel better or more positive than when I first started, right? And if I have that intention with my life, it is fully my responsibility to pull that all in and be so well, so that I can then do all the things, increase my capacity. If you want to increase your capacity as well, if you're energetically like looking at Mel going, oh my God, how does she even I'd love to do that stuff. Yeah. But maybe people would dream of doing this sort of stuff and never have the energetic capacity to do it. We can also adjust that for ourselves and increase our energetic capacity and our magnetism. And it is a process of expanding, but it's a beautiful expansion. Like this is reaching your potential. That's what I'm all about, you know?
Yeah. And I think like it's just like those bite-sized steps. Like you can get like, oh wow, like in the overwhelm of it all. Like I think that's so cool. What about when you went, if you've been through like a really hard struggle, I suppose, like for the listeners listening, or like just a really crap season, one thing that you just said was like your energies that you have. So like your like, you know, your career, like when you're at your job, but then you've got, I think sometimes, well, this is more for like mums, I suppose, like the mum homemakers that are listening, but like I found for a long time my parenting Mel energy and my partnering Mel energy, I kind of blended them together like for a season. And to be honest, my kids got all that energy. I think it would be fair to say, and I'm sure he won't mind because it wasn't all him, it was all me. But like he was like getting the dregs of my energy. How do you, I suppose this is a bit more like aimed at you, but how do you help manage that practically? Because I think that is a really like tricky thing. Okay. And see, like Nath, and you and I have laughed about this before, like Nath for me, or Nath's my husband, in case people like he's a morning person. Like he's like a willow. He's up at sunrise, bounces out of bed, ready for the day. I'm so sluggish, like, but then I'm a really late night person. And so like in our marriage, when the kids are all in bed, we've had to like really work at like nearly prioritizing time, or even like doing a coffee date somewhere. Like obviously not everyone can do that, but when the kids are at school or something, how have you, I suppose personally in your own like the struggle to the juggle, like how have you done that? Because I've seen you both together and you are the cutest couple ever.
Oh, you're so sweet.
But even like we were joking about that when we first met, about like that reality of the juggle, like when you show up with energy for all those different spheres.
It just becomes a major priority, right? As in, even before, so number one is you, right? And your energy and pouring into you. The number two relationship for me is my husband, 100%. And I always have prioritized that over the kids, even because they are little energy suckers sometimes. And attention suckers. They're so needy. We love them. I think there's this obvious, and us becoming a mum, you know, that hasn't always been the case. I just said I prioritize my husband first. And I'm like, that's a lie. Because when those kids were really young and I was breastfeeding and doing all the things, they got me 100%.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know, you just feel like, gosh, I can't give any
But
more.
nothing.
Like
I know. I'm
literally you're sucking even the water and fluids out of my body.
Yeah.
And the pendulum had to swing hardcore. Like it had to come back to like, I am a number one priority. And then when the pendulum kind of equilibrates again, right? You're like, okay, actually, how do I want to spend my energy? And so now this phase of our lives, and it has to ebb and flow with the phase that you're in.
Yeah.
So as a new mum, I think, you know, expecting that you can show up in abundance like that for anyone, you're literally yourself and making sure you're nourished and those babies are nourished or whatever you've got going on.
You're nearly running on survival. Yeah.
So apart from that phase of your life though, if we actually talk about then kids who are completely self-sustaining and self-sufficient, all that sort of stuff, it can still be that we could be running a million errands, kids to sport, like everyone on a different agenda, just logistically a bloody nightmare, right?
Yes.
How do you then how do you then find the time to pour into your partner? Yeah. I just think it's kind of like a lot of people talking about communication and having a high level of communication with your partner. And I love that. But I also think that intimacy creates that communication. It's massive. And we don't like, you know, you got to find time for those shags and not even just like, I actually encourage my clients to just hug, as in have a 10 or 20-second awkward hug every day.
Yeah.
To touch and to be present with each other and check in with each other. And that the communication and the intimacy can dance together so that, excuse me. Yeah. That you're actually feeling connection. That's the point.
Yeah, because otherwise communication's just like surface, can easily go to just be surface level conversation, can't it? Like just how's your day? Good. Like, you know, like nothing from it.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think when you both prioritize and say, actually, you know, whatever the intimacy level that feels good for your family and for your relationship, like my husband and I have a really beautiful gauge of how frequently we'd like to be that intimate sort of thing. And so sometimes it's like, I'm coming to bed at midnight and I'm like, wake up, let's go. And he's like, oh, actually go like, that's really important for our relationship. And so, you know, and it's not always,
it's super powerful. And I think because it's like that awkward conversation, people don't like to talk about it, like, or they don't like to, they just put it, I think, easily in the too hard basket.
Yeah.
But I think it's so important. I've always same as you, like we've always said our marriage comes first and then the kids. It doesn't mean we love them like less or anything. Like it's purely because if we're good, then they're gonna be good.
Yeah.
Like if we're good, we're on a like on the same team, I suppose. Like there's the little suckers. I love that. The little suckers kind of like, I suppose, you know, like when they'll come in, Mom, can I have so and so? And then they go and ask Dad. And because he thinks, oh, I don't know what Mel would say. But yeah, if that level of intimacy and the communication is ongoing, like both, then it's like, I know Mel would have said no, and you've actually just come and asked me, but I'm actually on the same team as Mum.
Yeah.
And it's still a no. Like, you know, like those little like kind of things that they're not doing it to be nasty or dumb. Like they're just
pushing
boundaries. Yeah. But yeah, I think that's very like valid, I think, in regards to the intimacy thing with our relationships. And because I think that first can be a shock. I know a couple of people that are having babies soon and it's their first baby. And they're reading all about it, you know, and I'm like, oh, I've got no idea what's coming.
Yeah. Well, you don't. None of us did, right? And every single one of us is different.
I don't think you ever are. But I think that's the beautifulness of that season. Like it sucks at the time, but I think it changes you for life and for the better. Like even as a couple, like beautiful, like in that little bubble. Like so it's good. But
it is. It's so beautiful. It's it's a wild ride, right?
Wild ride, but it's one I definitely wouldn't regret either. Like,
No. But
no.
I mean, so on the on the intimacy thing, a lot of women, and because we collect data on this as people come into my world,
Yeah.
people are, and it's only a happiness scale. Like there could be,
Yeah.
it's not really a frequency thing. It's more of are you happy with your sex life?
Yeah.
And are you happy? And usually the markers are there that like communication's down, intimacy is down, but like self-worth is down, confidence is down. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
These types of things, because people come to me when they're ready, like super ready to make change, and they're like, that's shit. This work, I want to go here. You know? And so, but then the beautiful transformation when you do these little, like truly those keystone habits we talked about last episode, you put those in, plug them into your life.
Yeah.
Commit to that beautiful, nourishing stuff. And then all the indicators move because of them. So it's not like we're focusing on more intimacy. It's not like we're focusing on our health or whatever. It's the holistic human flourishing, glow, nourishment that comes online with it. And it feels like a breath of fresh air compared to where some people are operating at the moment, you know?
And even like around the podcast, like name, like why I wanted to call it the wonder of home was in just that fact of like, as homemakers or more unconventional homemakers, I think is more realistic to today than what we would think of the typical stereotype homemakers. But I'm like, the whole reason I wanted to call it the wonder of home was even because as homemakers, we are the ones that kind of set the tone in our homes, because otherwise they'd just be houses, wouldn't they?
Yeah, absolutely. We bring the heart.
Yeah. So that was even like my heart around the, like, as homemakers, we bring the tone, but we're all so different in how we do it too.
Yeah.
Like there's not one Instagram formula, like way get the ultimate like home. I think, and actually the beauty in like the mess and the beauty and the wonder of like the differences of our homes. But I think we can all totally learn from each other too. Like, so yeah, that's what
absolutely. I love the name. I love the wonder of home. I feel like the wonder of it as well brings this sense of this is something to be so grateful for. This is something to be absolutely enjoyed, not a place where we don't feel safe or there's friction and things like that. Like bring the love and love and love. And we do that by being well for ourselves and all of that stuff. Everything impacts our home. Everything out there can impact our home if we let it. So let's create this beautiful wonder bubble around our home,
and then like
and do it how we want to do it, right?
Exactly. Like, how do people feel when they come into your home? Well, that's the wonder of your home.
Yeah. Mine's full of greenery. It's like a little rainforest.
No, I'm so jealous. And I have like one sad vase.
Plant. No,
I'm sitting here like totally in comparison.
Well, my husband calls it like Jumanji. He goes, I don't think there's any more space for plants. Like I've got a thing here and they're all.
There's no such thing, Willow. Don't let him speak that in.
Do you know what though? One time it was springtime and I'd taken all the plants outside and the house, he walked in and was like, whoa, has someone robbed the place? It felt so weirdly bare.
Well, that's like our new house at the moment. Like that's us now. I'm like, I'm in like this weird like transition space where I feel like I'm trying to make it our home. Like bring the wonder into our home. And I still feel like it's so sterile.
Get some plants in there. I'll bring some
like,
now.
Yeah, I need to get some plants. In the next episode, you'll see like some plants.
I love it. Greenery is good for everyone.
Oh, you're the best. Okay, so Miss Willow, people can contact Willow. I love being able to like promote our guests and things that we have on the podcast, because I think what's the point of sharing your story and your heart if people can't like continually, I suppose, keep an eye on you. So you can follow Willow at She's Got Glow on Instagram, and you're on Facebook too, right?
Yeah, Facebook and LinkedIn as well.
Okay, and LinkedIn and website.
Yeah, so www.shesgotglow.com, and there's a little right. And for anyone listening that wants I have this beautiful audio series, which is designed to sort of, you just pop it in your ear. It's like a mini podcast, but it just goes for 7 days. And it's called The Great Reset. It's like the reset button you've been looking for. So if you're feeling overwhelmed or whatever, you're ready for change, it's a really beautiful one. And it's free on my website. So go and have a look at that.
So cool. And we also mentioned that Willow's not only does she have doctor in front of her name, but she's also an author. Hello.
I know, this is very recent.
Ignite Joy. I don't know, you might not be able to see it on my screen, but Ignite Joy. I'll share a link for that. And you can buy that on Amazon. Can you? Yeah. It's a download book.
Yeah. It's a Kindle, or you can get a paperback version. Thank you. Yeah.
Oh, sweet. Yeah. So I'll put that in. The details will be down below in the podcast for more information. I'll pop all Willow's stuff in there. But thank you, Willow. Go water those plants.
It takes a little while. Thank you so much. It's been lovely.
So cute. Oh, we'll definitely have you back, I'm sure.
Yeah, for sure. Love that.
Thank you.